Welcome to the Halloween special of After the Whistle. Y'all looking at me. Y'all trying to. I'm pretty sure y'all trying to figure out who I am. Tomorrow's Halloween. Since we won't be shooting on Halloween, we decided to dress up today. Y'all want to know who I am? I'm like 8 different characters right now. I'm Nino Brown. I'm Shaft. I'm Bishop. And this is a caveman right here.
What up?
Yo, where you even find that costume?
Huh?
Where you find that costume?
Nah, man, I got this mask a couple years ago, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago at the mall. Just got a caveman. It kind of mixes melt with my skin, so you know.
Yeah,
we all right.
What's that caveman commercial? The Geico caveman?
Yeah, Geico, yeah, man. So that's what my mask is about today.
So we got the Geico caveman, and we got 8 different movie characters. That's me. For this segment, I'm gonna be Nino Brown. And we're gonna talk about the New England Patriots. Our show's out of control. You know who's out of control? The Browns offense. They could not do anything against the Patriots defense, and this is just the Browns season right now. Turnovers, penalties. That's been consistent, and we're 8 weeks into the season, and who you are is who you are after 8 weeks. What you've been doing consistently since week 1, that's who you are. We thought they would get it together, but apparently not, and here we are. And Baker Manziel had a meltdown in a press conference earlier because they were asking him about his poor play, and he walked out the press conference and blah blah blah. But I mean, this game was you thought the Browns had a chance because it was raining, but clearly not.
My man, I knew the Browns had no chance when I looked at the schedule and see they were playing the Pats, bro. Like, let's be serious. I can't even talk with the thing on my lip. Like, honestly though, nobody ever expected them to even have a chance in this game. They had 13 penalties to the Pats 4. When you're a bad team, you can't have like mental lapses in the game. You got to value the ball. You got to try to convert 3rd and 4th downs if possible, and you can't have penalties.
And they got into the red zone one time. And it doesn't help that you turn the ball over on 3 straight possessions. Now that's just kind of ridiculous. Nick Chubb had a great run. He had a big 60 or 70 yard run, and then he fumbled the ball. Jonathan Jones knocked the ball out of his hands, and then right after that, I believe another fumble, and then fumble recovery for a touchdown, and then there was the interception on a shovel pass.
Yeah, that was crazy. From the angle when they hiked it, it looked like he was just terrified, but that was just a great play as well. You know what I mean? Granted, though, he should have saw that the man wasn't there.
Yeah.
But he threw it before he even knew. He threw it before the play even developed whatsoever.
Yeah.
And
this is Baker Mayfield. Now he's played he started in 20 games and he's got 26 interceptions as a starting quarterback in 20 games. I was saying all along, let's slow down on this Baker hype because of the run he had towards the end of the season last year. I'm like, let's slow down. Teams actually have a whole offseason to game plan against him. They know his tendencies, and he's just not been looking good at all. He looks horrible out there. His decision making is still not the greatest. They don't target Odell Beckham enough. Even if he is double teamed or triple teamed, they still don't target him enough. This is just an overall bad football team, and they're going to continue to be a bad football team. And you got the coaches. He's challenging plays that he shouldn't really be challenging. Wasting challenges and losing timeouts for what? It's this whole team. They just
I think it's time to get rid of Mr. Kitchens, bro.
Yeah,
because it's too hot for him in there.
Man, way too hot.
It's time to get out.
Way too hot, and I don't even know why they hired him because they had a good. The interim coach Greg Williams, he was pretty good. They should have kept him, but Baker wanted Freddie Kitchens, and I don't know why you would listen to a second-year quarterback. I'm like, dude, you got no clout to be suggesting anything.
I didn't even know that part.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
No wonder why they kind of let him kind of do what he wants.
Yeah.
They're trying to make him the prized possession in the NFL now, behind Brady?
Yeah. But, I mean, 8 straight games with an interception. Still lead the league in interception. It's just crazy. And let's quickly talk about the Patriots. The Patriots, they passed the ball 36 times, but they also ran it 27 times. They were 2 for 2 on 4th down, 5 for 16 on 3rd down. And this is all in the rain, too. It's a little more difficult in the rain. And through the first 8 games, the Patriots defense has a plus 189 in point differential, which is tied with the 42 Chicago Bears, and plus 17 in the turnover differential, which is tied with the 83 Minnesota Vikings. So these guys, they just continue to play well.
Yeah, when I was watching the game, they were saying, like, even if the offense didn't score, they'd still be 4-2-1.
Yeah.
Just because the defense is just that incredible this year.
And the offense, they put, at this point, the offense just puts up enough points. Once they get a double-digit lead, you're not coming back on them. That's the way this defense is playing. They were up 17-0 in the slim chance that the Browns had, it went to Whipper.
Yeah, man. So, I didn't have much faith in them in this game. Man.
Me either. Some people are calling for the upset, but not me. I knew the deal. Another team, the team out on the West Coast, the San Francisco 49ers, they showed their dominance against the Carolina Panthers, and my goodness, did they put it on them. It was pretty bad. It was the Panthers coming off a bye week. You thought, okay, they're going to have a little challenge. The Niners going to have their first real test, and that was not the case. Kyle Allen threw this is his first career loss. He threw his first career interception. It was just an overall bad game for the Panthers.
Yeah, 49ers is like one of the best teams in the league. So Kyle Allen's a backup. I didn't expect him to do too well against them and prove me right. And when you're playing against a dominant team, you can't have 9 penalties for 70 yards to their 4 for 31. You can't give up 7 sacks to your 3. Like, you got to give your quarterback a chance. Like, help him out a little bit. But they weren't going to win this game regardless. And then the turnovers.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. You can't turn the ball over 3 times on the road. Plus, this is a cross country trip too. So you're already at a disadvantage. So everything that could go wrong went wrong for them. And then the 49ers, they 232 rushing yards. Tevin Coleman had 105. I keep saying that these guys, the national media is not talking about them a lot, but these guys, they're the best team in the NFC right now, and might be probably the best team in the NFL along with the Patriots, just because of the way they play. They held Kyle Allen to 4.7 QBR and 28.9 quarterback rating. You can't.
And they're like the most balanced. They usually rush the ball like 20, 25 times. Yeah. Jimmy G doesn't really throw it as much, but their defense came to play, so they didn't have to do as much on the offensive end. Yeah, they were allowing 3.7 yards per play. It was and Nick Bosa, he had 3 of their 7 sacks and an interception. He's the first player, actually the 3rd player in NFL history with 3 sacks and an interception, joining Julius Peppers. He did that in 2002, and Kevin Williams of the Vikings in 2003. Okay. So Nick Bosa, the Bosa boys, they're tied right now in sacks. They each have 7. So I think there's like a 3-way tie for 10th in the league right now. So those guys are balling, and that whole defensive front, because it's full of first-round picks, and this just shows you what happens when you get first-round picks and you actually get a coach that knows what he's doing. Or the coach that puts people that knows how to coach defense. Their defensive coordinator knows what he's doing. So the coach, he's an offensive guy, so he just focuses more on offense. And it's like these guys, they know their game plan, they know what they're doing, and they just stick to it. And if you're going to beat them, you have to play flawless, because the way they've been playing, they're not going to beat themselves. And Jimmy G is just, another one of the Patriots' former quarterback. Patriots, so between him, Brissett, and Brady, they're 20-2 record. Yeah. They call it the evil empire, right? Yeah. There you go. This was a crazy game in Arrowhead Stadium between the Packers and the Chiefs without no Patrick Mahomes due to the injury. He practiced, though, but they shut him down. And, Matt Moore did a good job in his first start since, I believe, 2017. This was his first start. And, 267 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, but the Chiefs had 1 turnover. And I think that turnover was probably the difference in the game, because they lose by 7, and, the Packers had 0 turnovers. Yeah, man, you talk about Rodgers?
No.
He went 23 for 33, 305, 3 TDs, so he's definitely getting back on track. Had 2 great weeks in a row.
Yeah.
And thing about Green Bay, they had the ball for 7 more minutes. You know what I mean? So when you have a turnover and then they're allowed to milk the clock,
Yeah.
it's hard to it's hard to overcome that.
And they're actually protecting Aaron Rodgers last year. Last year he was sacked 49 times. This year he's only been sacked 17 times through 8 games. So he's probably on pace to just be sacked probably around 20 some odd times or 30 some odd times. If they keep protecting him the way he does. And his past 2 games he's been flawless. 724 yards, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, and he's completing over 60% of his passes. So he's back. He's definitely in that MVP conversation, or if not leading in the MVP conversation right now, just by the way they're playing. And you got to give it up to Aaron Jones too. This guy, he's been a good all-around running back, passing and catching. He had 216 yards from scrimmage, and he had that big play. He had that big screen pass in the end of the game that after the Chiefs had tied the game, and he scored right after that. So we're seeing a team that's well balanced.
No, definitely.
The defense is playing well too. The defense isn't that great, but they're middle of the pack, and that's all you need. As long as you're not like in the 20s or so, they're in the teens.
And when you win by a touchdown, those other possessions and crucial situations come into play. Like their third down, they converted 2 more third downs than Kansas City did in the red zone. In the red zone, they're 3 for 4 because Kansas City's 1 for 2.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can just tell certain situations in the game will determine the outcome, because when it's a close game, those situations count.
And the Packers are putting themselves in prime position for a first-round bye in the playoffs as long as they keep playing the way they are. Because right now they're only trailing San Francisco for the best record in the NFC. And if they keep going doing this, they'll definitely be primed to have a bye. It's between them and the Saints right now, fighting for that number 2 seed if things go the way they go. And if I'm looking at the Packers' schedule right now, because they're already 3-0 in their division, and they're going to San Diego this Sunday. Their next 3 games might be a little difficult. San Diego, that's traveling to California. I don't know how good they are. They're probably going to win that, but they're not that. San Diego's not that bad, but they've been playing bad. Then they got Carolina at home, and then they go to San Francisco. So that one against San Francisco is going to be a big task on November 24th. But the rest of the way they got a pretty. After that, it's the Giants, team in Washington, the Bears, Vikings, Lions. That's how they close their season out. So they might go 14-2, 13-3.
I can see that.
Yeah, I definitely can see that. All right, and then, Minnesota. This game was kind of a boring game, Minnesota and Detroit, but they're both coming off. It's a short week, Thursday night game. The Thursday night games are never that good. Well, they could be good sometimes, but both teams are at a disadvantage because, you're coming off the game you play Sunday in just a couple of days and barely any practice time. But Minnesota, they were just a better team. They just made more plays than the team in Washington. The team in Washington don't know which quarterback they want to use. They started off with Case Keenum, then they put Dwayne Haskins in. They need to stop putting Dwayne Haskins in when they're already, like halfway through the game or so like that. Just, give them a chance to start the game or something. Like, give them a week of preparation and give them an opportunity to actually get off to a good start.
And I'd expect Case Keenum to come in the second half because he's a vet. You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was saying. Like, allow what's his name to start, just because, like, I don't see him having the mental toughness, you know what I mean, to bring a team back and understand how to help a team come back.
Yeah, on the road too. Yeah, you're playing a team that's pretty good in their home turf, but man, Kirk Cousins, this dude is making me. He's like making me eat my words. This dude, man. Yo, I was killing him like the first 2-3 weeks, and after that, I don't know what happened to him. I have no idea who talked to him or what, but he's only got 1 interception in the last 5 games. This was his first game in the past 3 games that he threw under 300 yards, and he completed 85% of his passes. Granted, he didn't throw a touchdown in this game, but he's just making plays out there and not doing dumb stuff. And also what I liked is the Vikings ran the ball.
Yeah. Like the Vikings and the 49ers have the formula for success.
Yeah.
The Pats are just great, but they have the formula. They're well balanced. Cousins throws the ball less than 30 times a game. Cook,
Isn't that what I said?
Yeah.
He got to throw the ball at least 25 to 30 times. Anything over 30 is not good.
Cook runs the ball over 20 times a game.
Yeah.
And then you got solid receivers. So with that being said, and with Cousins, I don't mind him not throwing a touchdown as long as you don't throw an interception.
Yep.
So that's fine with me,
That's
bro.
the big thing because they could easily be 7-1 if he didn't throw that interception in Green Bay, which basically cost them the game. And then Dalvin Cook, they're really using this guy very well. I mean, I think last week I said that I think he's only carried the ball 25 times once this season. And, again, this week, 23 times. And then Alexander Madison had carried it 13 times. So they're doing a good job of balancing him out, not having him carry so much of the offense. But he had 171 yards from scrimmage and a touchdown. And on the season, he got 1,116 yards from scrimmage. I think that's probably like top 5 in the league. He leads the league in rushing. And then if you look at Stephon Diggs, he started off slow, but his last 3 games, 143 yards receiving, 143 yards receiving, 167 yards receiving. And right now, Adam Thielen is out. So, I mean, I guess whatever when he had that little moment, ranting moment, I guess it got through to the quarterback because they've been playing flawless.
Nah, they definitely have, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do in the playoffs if they continue to play well throughout the rest of the season. But also, too, with this game, they had 200 more yards than the Skins. Like, this game was over before it started. Like,
yeah, it was, and the Washington, they don't know what they're doing. It's a team, and they should start tanking. they might as well start tanking. But, I mean, I also give it up to the Vikings defense. They didn't allow a red zone touchdown. They also forced 2 turnovers. So, kudos to Minnesota. Now they just got to keep winning. And once they get their guys fully healthy, we'll see what happens because it's between them and Green Bay for that division. And if they win a couple more division games, they'll come down to the wire at the end of the season. Philadelphia, no, not the Philadelphia Eagles, the Chicago Bears. They still got kicker issues. They have kicker issues, and I have issues with what they did in that final possession to position the kicker. You have 1 timeout left. There's about 30 seconds left, and you take a knee. Yeah. It was like 2nd down, and you take a knee. You don't want to get closer, knowing that you lost a playoff game because of kicking. You didn't want to get closer to make it a little easier. Like, what is going on there?
it makes me wonder, do they even work on end-of-game situations at practice?
Apparently not.
And why are so many coaches having, like, brain-dead moments in crucial situations of the game?
Joe, and honestly, you got to make that kick. Come on, man. You got to make that kick. That's like 30, 40 yards. You got to make that kick. We saw you make one earlier in the season. So, but for them to not even get the ball centered in the middle, put it in the middle, so they just took the knee. It was mind-boggling. And then with this Mitchell Trubisky thing, bruh, y'all were 1 for 5 in the red zone. And the plays were horrible plays that they were doing. They were playing the game for him not to mess up. They were running. They was like, we're not going to let you throw the ball in the in the red zone. We're just going to run it. We'll do a pass here, but if you don't got it, throw it away. They were playing not to lose. They were playing to lose, pretty much, in my thought. And you would think they'd won this game because they had 38. They had a plus 16 in time of possession. They had the ball for 38 minutes and charges for 22.
They were better in like every facet of the game when you look at the stats. So you look at it, oh, they must have won. You look up like, oh, they lost. So as a defense, it has to be deflating.
Yeah.
Like when you bust your butt and then all of a sudden this guy who barely does anything all game can't kick a field goal.
Just make the field goal. And also what's bothering is, since Mitchell Trubisky came back from that injury, from his shoulder injury, they've passed the ball 89 times. 89 times. And then this game, he had a 41.4 QBR and a 30.1 Q.
Maybe
those are the 2 QBRs in those 2 returns.
I be feeling like they're trying to set some of these quarterbacks up because some of the things that they're doing to these people, it makes absolutely no sense. So maybe they're trying to force him out due to injury. It
made no sense for them to draft him at number 2 in the first place. He was playing in the ACC at North Carolina. Deshaun Watson was in the ACC as well, dominating pro-level guys. He won the national title. dominated Mitchell Trubisky's team, and you traded up to number 2 for him. And now Deshaun Watson and Patrick Mahomes, they're MVP candidates. And the guy that you so wanted is probably not going to be, he's probably not going to have a starting job next year because this is just terrible.
We can't understand some of the moves they make. They must see something in them that we don't, and the rest of the society doesn't either. I remember when I found out who the quarterback for the Bears was. I'm like, who? Who is this guy?
Yeah.
So it's like
Andy Reid traded up from number 24 to number 10 to take Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes was there. Deshaun Watson was there for the taking. There were other players better than Mitchell Trubisky who played against NFL guys in the ACC, and he couldn't do nothing.
I feel like some of these quarterbacks got drafted because like some alumni or people that they work with know some of these guys in the front office.
Gotta be.
Because you got the greats. You got the couple OKs, and the rest are like bums, man.
Yo,
like,
terrible.
like
terrible. I feel bad for that Bears defense, but man, terrible.
Shame on you kickers, man.
The freaking kickers. Can't stand them. Eagles, they bounced back against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills, you look at them, they're 5-2, but then you see who they've beaten. I mean, they've beaten the people on the teams on their schedule, but they haven't beaten a good team yet. They've lost. The two good teams they've beaten, they lost, and then they've played a bunch of bad teams, and they've won those games. But the Eagles needed this. What I liked about this game is they ran the ball 41 times. Granted, it was raining like crazy over there, but they ran it 41 times. Howard had 23 attempts for 96 yards. Miles Sanders had the big 60-some-odd yard touchdown rush. And, once again, Carson Wentz didn't throw no interceptions, not one touchdown. I mean, hey.
It looked like Philly just dominated them throughout the whole game as well. Mm-hmm. Their total yards, 371 to Buffalo's 253. They had the ball for 11 more minutes.
Yeah.
Ain't no way you win the game, somebody milking the clock that much on you. So,
and the Eagles definitely needed this win. They needed this win coming off that Cowboys loss. They needed something. And what better way than, just a franchise that thinks they're going somewhere.
And you would hope that they would use this formula and bring it into next week. Because you have to give Wentz you got to give Wentz a break throughout the game. You know what I mean? And let your workhorses get you some ground yards.
Yeah, he only 17 of 24, but just because they had to run it. And also, this was another game he threw under 200 yards, but these games he's throwing under 200 yards, he's been efficient, and it's been the decision-making that's been pretty good. It's just some of these, he was let down a few of those games by his receivers, but maybe they could get something rolling right now because their schedule, they got the Bears coming up. That defense is hard. It's going to be tough, but, if you want to get back on track, there's nothing better than seeing the Bears offense if you're an Eagles defense. But then, their next 3 games, it's going to be tough. They got the Bears, then the Patriots. It's 2 home games against the Bears. Then the following week, they got the Patriots. And then they got Seattle coming in there. So 3 tough teams. 2 of them going to be playoff contenders. So, I mean, they got to come out of this at least 2-1 or 3-0 because they can't afford to lose 2 games in this next 3-game stretch.
No.
Or their playoff chance is going to be slim to none, and even trying to make the wild card is not going to be realistic for them. So they need to make some plays.
Definitely.
Officiating in the NFL is horrible, and it cost the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a game on Sunday. The Bucs were down 24-27. These guys, I don't know what Tennessee was doing, but they decided to run a fake field goal. And
man.
Yeah.
Oh, that kicker ate it.
The kicker got demolished, and he fumbled the ball. It was a clear fumble. Bucs pick it up and running for the touchdown, but they blew the play dead. You'd think they'd learned their lesson from the Saints game in Week 1, but I don't get why they keep blowing it dead. And also, they have the benefit of replaying any touchdown score. So even if it wasn't a fumble, you just let the play out. You're going to have to review it anyways because every touchdown has to be reviewed. And then boom. But it's like you quick to blow it dead. I'm like, why? That literally cost them the game.
That was negligent, to be honest. I always say the more leeway you give these referees in the game, the more negligent, and they don't put forth the same focus as they would if there was no challenge, no replay, every call. You know what I mean? And that's one thing I don't like. So these refs got to just do a better job at being aware.
Bucks coach said it. Refs aren't held accountable.
No, they're not.
They're not.
They're not held accountable. Like,
And this was blatant. This was come on now. You can't miss that. You can't miss. How do you just blow it dead? It boggles my mind that they keep doing this, and it's like, bruh, stop blowing the play dead so quickly. If it's an obvious turnover, if it looks like a turnover, just let it play out. And then but yeah, the Bucks got screwed.
Because at the end of the day, if it wasn't a fumble, they'd replay it, ball at such and such yard line, continue the game. But once again, I tell you, when you give people leeway to mess up, they're gonna mess up.
Yeah. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. But yeah, too bad for the Bucks.
But yeah, Winston should not be throwing the ball 43 times.
Bruh, ever since we was praising him, it's been downhill after that.
Because I feel like they're trying to push him out, to be honest. Because he was playing well, and then that 50 pass thrown game and 43, it's like, what are you guys doing to this man?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And they actually have a decent running attack, so I don't get what they're doing.
They just don't want to use it.
Yeah, so the Bucks will probably end up being an 8-8 team just because of the way they're doing things. A team that found their offensive sparks was the Rams. Against the Cincinnati Bengals over there in London. What better way to get back on track on the winning side than playing against the Cincinnati Bengals? The Bengals announced that they're benching Andy Dalton and starting a rookie quarterback. Okay, that's going to help. But Cooper Kupp, 7 receptions, 220 yards. That was big for him. Jared Goff had 31 attempts. That's good. I just don't like how they was, 40, 50 attempts from him in the past couple games. But these guys needed this win, and they needed because it's gonna be hard for that wild card spot in the NFC.
Yeah, and shout out to their defense too, man.
Yeah.
And the 5 sacks.
They just traded to keep to lead.
Oh yeah, they did. They did actually. But they traded him to Miami, right?
Yeah.
He must be pissed.
I don't think he was getting on the plane.
Yeah, he's on the IR.
Yeah.
Ain't he though? Oh, all right, yeah. But Dalton. Why you got him throwing the ball 52 times?
I know, and he don't even have his best receiver.
They just setting some of these guys up for failure. But Dalton's having a rough year. The whole Cincinnati team's having a rough year. I didn't even want to really write any notes for this game because they're bums.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just one of those,
Yeah, it's a team that's going nowhere. But this was more so for the Rams because the NFC West is so competitive. San Francisco's in the lead right now, and then Seattle, and then them. So it's like fighting for that wild card spot. They need to get all the wins.
But what's crazy when I looked at some of the stats, it's like you see how the Bengals went 32 for 52, and the Rams went 17 for 31 passing. But the Rams had 12 yards per pass. Yeah. To Bengals 5.
Yeah, yeah. And also Todd Gurley, he scored a touchdown. He became he's tied now with Marcus Allen, Terrell Davis, and Daniel Tomlinson. 63 rushing touchdowns in 65 games. The most is Chuck Foreman, who had 64 touchdowns in 65 games, which that means the guy gets into the end zone a lot. That pretty much means that's what that means. And that's the recipe for the Rams. He is their engine. So they got to get him going down the stretch this part of the season because this is the time when the running game becomes very, very important. J.J. Watt's season's over, so he tore something in his shoulder or something like that. Yeah, I think he had a tear in his shoulder. He's basically done. He's just always injured. This guy's always injured. At first, his back here, back there, knee here, knee there, arm here, arm there. So it's like, come on, man. You might have to call it a career soon because this is taking its toll on you. Can't play a full season.
Yeah, and it was like when he was trying to get that MVP. Yeah, that was like one of his best seasons. And after either that year, the next year, or the year after, was like he was starting to fall apart.
Yeah, man. But DeAndre Hopkins, he caught his 8,000. He's got 8,000 receiving yards for his career now, which is big. He's only 2,000 away from getting to 10,000. And also, Deshaun Watson, this guy's been out of his mind. You see that last touchdown when he got kicked in the face? Oh, yeah, he got kicked in the face and still was able to get it off on the scramble. But this was overall a good game. Give the Raiders a lot of credit. These guys, they're still you could tell they're just learning to win because they had a 10-point lead, I believe, or 11-point lead. They was up 24-13, I believe, and they just couldn't close it out, and that's just a young team.
Kyle's balling. 18 for 30, 285, 3 TDs. But one thing I'm always going to talk about, the penalties. Oakland had 11 penalties for 100 yards. Granted, the Texans had 7 for half of that, for 50, but
Yeah.
When you can't have that many penalties and still expect to win the game, especially when Texans ran 21 more plays and they had the ball for 11 minutes and 46 more seconds.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. I mean, the least penalized teams always wins the game. Discipline. The Raiders need discipline. But one thing, we're seeing the process. We're seeing them learn how to win because, I mean, from last year to this year, we're seeing them play hard. They're mostly in all these games except a few games, but they're in most of these games. But it's just, their youth and then their what was the word? I forgot. Immaturity, these guys. And lack of discipline is kind of what's costing them. And, this is something that's teachable.
And value possessions.
Yeah.
Because Texans 1 for 1 on 4th down.
Yeah.
And they won by 3.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Lastly, we're not even going to talk about this much. The Dolphins are tanking.
Cool.
The Dolphins are tanking. These guys were up. They were up 14-0, and then it was just 27 unanswered points by Pittsburgh. And the one that stood out was when the guy was just running free. Free in the middle. It was like nobody was there. I think it was the second Pittsburgh touchdown. And it was like, what are y'all doing on defense? Like, why is that man so wide open? But, yeah, this is a team, I don't know. They have quarterback issues. They got, the coach, I feel bad for him, but they have no structure. They should just clean house at this point.
Yeah, I can see that. Shout out to Juju Smith. That nice catch he had.
Yeah.
Nice touchdown. But other than that, like that game, it was on, but I wasn't watching it.
Yeah, but tanking for Tua. That's
tanking for Tua.
Tanking for Tua is the Dolphins. Yeah, that's about it. We ain't gonna talk much about them. There's a Game 7 in baseball. The Washington home team won a game in Major League Baseball. I don't know. We thought the Astros took the momentum after they went to Washington and won those games, but nope. They go back. Justin Verlander was on the mound, and you thought, okay, this is going to be a good one. Steven Strasburg was on the mound, and it didn't happen. Juan Soto, it was a tied game. I believe it was a tie, or they were up, and he had the home run that put them up, and they never looked back. And it's like, bro, granted for Houston, they got another home game, but it's Game 7 at home. But my goodness, man, somebody needs to.
Yeah, I don't think the Nationals are winning this.
Momentum. Game 7?
Yeah, man, momentum. Houston was like the best team all year.
Yeah.
They're rolling. Won 3 in a row. Nationals had a chance to step on their neck. They didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. But, it's just kudos to Steven Strasburg. He went 8 innings, struck out 7. He only allowed 2 runs. And they were thinking about keeping him in until the 9th inning, but they let him go. He might be in the bullpen for the Game 7. There'll probably be all hands on deck with each of these teams with their pitchers in the bullpen. It's just, who's gonna make the big play, the big hits? Who's gonna break it out? Because so far, Juan Soto, he's made some plays. Jose Altuve, maybe he comes up big. We saw what he did against the Yankees to send them home. So maybe he'll have another big game. But Game 7 in Major League Baseball, nothing more you could ask for.
Yeah, man, go out guns blazing.
Yeah.
Don't rest anyone.
And the Red Sox, they're looking for candidates now, too, for their GM spot. I think they're bringing in 20 candidates.
Okay.
NCAA, they're going to pay athletes.
Yeah.
They're going to allow student athletes to profit off their likeness.
So you know what that means? March Madness is coming back.
Yeah.
Yeah,
NCAA football coming back too. But I know everybody was saying the NCAA didn't do this out the kindness of their heart. They
never do.
Yeah, they did it. They know what was up. They know what was happening. They seen the writing on the wall.
Man, they treat college students like institutional slaves.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real.
Yeah.
You can make all the money off you, off your likeness, off how many jerseys you sell, all this, but you can't make a dime off you being you.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. I know a lot of people have been happy about this because a lot of people and current NBA players, pro athletes, been advocating for this. Now it's just see what's going to happen now. Where do we go from here? Because maybe there might be something where they could work together with the leagues, with the pro leagues that could allow them. Maybe they could be drafted early, but while still be in school or something like that. But
yeah, it's tough.
It's tough, but
because now you're professional. It's no longer amateurism. You know what I mean?
They used to do it. The NBA used to do it. I mean, they did it with Larry Bird.
Yeah.
But that was back then.
And I think Magic too. I think.
Probably they had his rights. I just remember
so.
Bird. They had their rights, but this is big for the NCAA. This is big for all student athletes all over the place because now for so long they've been exploited and a lot of people making money off them. I mean, one of the coaches, Dabble Sweeney, said if a student athlete starts getting paid, he's gonna retire. I'm like, bro, relax. You making like $20 million a year.
Why is he retiring?
Right.
Like that makes me feel like that makes me feel like you don't want these kids to get any money. Like you not respect them as athletes.
No, he's not.
Or just little minions that work under you.
Pretty much.
You know what I mean? And what I was gonna say was what rules and regulations is the NCAA gonna put on this money and stuff like that? 'Cause you shake too many hands, deduct 100,000 or something like that.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna do something to try to
keep their money.
Yeah, pretty much, because the NCAA is sketchy. But I mean, we'll see what more happens to this. But yeah, this was a good thing for them. I mean, Mitt Romney is over here saying
Who?
Mitt Romney. Former mascot. Yeah.
Did he play anywhere?
No, he didn't.
Nobody cares what he got to say.
Yeah.
Stay in politics, Mitt.
Yeah, stick to that. All right, and quickly, NCAA. There's a new number 1 team in the nation, and that is the Lsu Tigers. I mean, I can't blame them because they've beaten 3 ranked teams so far this season. They had another big win over Auburn over the weekend, and I can't knock them. My only issue with the top 25 is I think Ohio State should be number 2 because I think they've played a lot better than Alabama and Clemson. But I mean, Alabama and Clemson could be 3 and 4, but I think Ohio State should be number 2 because of their dominance this season. And but yeah, the top 4: Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, LSU. Then you go Penn State's number 5 at 8-0, which is looking good. I think they play Ohio State coming up. Florida number 6, Oregon number 7, Georgia number 8. Utah, number 9, and Oklahoma, who got upset by Kansas State this past weekend.
Bro, I was telling Justin, we was at the gym working out, and I see it on the screen. I was going to tell you they was going to lose. But I went to do the dips, and I never said nothing. I wish I would have bet on that game, bro.
Yeah, they.
Oh, my God.
For some reason, Ohio State always has an issue with K-State. For some reason, they always, going back to like 2004. Oklahoma. My bad. I said Ohio State, Oklahoma. Going back to 2004 when Darren Sproles was there, they always had these games where they play K-State and they'd lose. So it's always interesting.
I felt it in my bones, man.
But yeah, that's the top 10. We're gonna go to Athletes Corner. I went back to Emerson College to talk to Coach Bill Curley and the boys. They're getting ready. The season opens up November 9th. So Athletes Corner, and we're gonna come back. I don't know how much time we got left when we come back, but we're gonna talk about some NBA for a bit. Here, Emerson College, Athletes Corner, Coach Curley. They just had a hard practice right now. Coach, what was this practice mindset? You had them doing a lot.
Well, we gave up 80 points a game last year, so we're trying to focus on getting a little tougher defensively and limiting the other team's points. So not a lot of shooting, just trying to get in good position and teaching the fundamentals to play strong team defense, and not the most fun, but they were getting after it, so it's enjoyable if you get to compete, I guess.
Communication is key on defense. That's one of the biggest things on defense. How do you think they're doing so far with that?
Well, being a great communication school that Emerson is, we're great communicators. Yeah, they love to talk, but we have to. We got to talk more with a purpose. Yep. I want these guys to talk a little bit more with a purpose and a little bit more direct with their teammates and where to be and who's coming and what's going on. But right now, just them talking early and often has been great.
Now you guys got a lot of guys, got pretty decent amount of guys coming back. Lost a few seniors. This team seems like it's got the experience it needs for you guys to go to the next level, but it's just bringing in the new guys and having them buy into the system.
We brought a lot back. We brought a lot back for sure. We lost an incredible leader with Jeff Gray, but we brought in 5 freshmen that we think are going to get major minutes. So trying to sprinkle those guys in, and on top of having a lot of guys back. 5 freshmen last year played over 20 minutes, so that's still a young team when you got freshmen and that many freshmen and sophomores. So we're going to rely on Jack O'Connor and Ben Holden, the upperclassmen, to really, show these guys what it's about. But they're still young and they're going to make a lot of mistakes. But I love their enthusiasm and their energy, and we're excited to get going.
Yeah, and for them, knowing how you guys made the tournament last year and you guys want to go further in the tournament, how's it going to feel when they finally get to play against different people instead of themselves, scrimmaging against other teams?
It has been a long fall so far. These guys are gym rats, and I think that's been part of our success in the last couple of years, is that guys want to be in the gym. So since they checked into campus in September, these guys have been playing pickup, and they're just looking at each other. So they're definitely tired of seeing each other. They want some fresh meat out here. And, we're going to have to wait till November 9th to the season opener, but hopefully we'll get them nice and ornery by then.
Yeah, how excited are you for that? It's just a couple weeks away, November 9th.
It's coming real quick as we're starting to try to just make sure they understand the basics of it. But we got to move on and just not to know we're having so many freshmen involved that we're trying to make sure they understand our terminology. And obviously giving up 80 last year, we're going maybe a little bit too slow. And I'm like, we're about to start games in like 2 weeks. We got to move this on. Yeah. But I think we got some guys that can score a little bit. So if we can just play together, make each other better, and compete defensively and block out and get the rebounds, I think we'll be all right.
And we didn't talk about this last time when you came down to the studio. You played 7 seasons in the NBA. He was there 94 to 2001. What's some of the experiences you got from the league that kind of helped you in coaching?
I think that was probably the best part of my career in the NBA. Unfortunately, I got the heck beat out of me at BC in the Big East, and so when I got there, I was pretty beat up. But I think the best part, being able to play for so many different teams in the NBA and have all those different teammates and coaches, made a world of difference. And it was just helped me now, where you got so many different coaches, 7 or 8 different coaches, and 100 or something different teammates. So just try to learn and take the good stuff that I learned and give it to these guys and get rid of the terrible stuff, but you do have to eat your vegetables, like our homework, like our defense now. So that's what we're getting through.
And lastly, what was something that you learned from Coach O'Brien that kind of helped you?
Everything. He taught me how to be a player, for one. He taught me how to play basketball, and then when I got to coach with him, he taught me how to be a coach and how to teach it from this side of the bench, this side of the lines. And I can't say enough for everything he's done for my career and my family, and just teaching you how to teaching us the game, but more importantly, how to be a good guy. And hopefully we're developing that family atmosphere where these guys know that it's not whether they make a basket or get a rebound that I care about them. It's moving on. And to this day, Coach and I are still great friends, and that's what this is about. Basketball is a tool, and we're trying to get into there.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate that. It's like the Fantastic Four freshman right here.
And our guy Gas, who isn't here. James Gascoigne. Yeah, he's injured.
Y'all got your own little Fab Five here going.
Fab Five, exactly.
All right, guys. You guys just, Coach been saying what you guys got on campus. It's been work. How excited are you guys? Just first year in college, about to new adventure in your life, new journey, playing at the high level. What's it like for you guys?
Personally, I'm very excited. Coming off a new MAC championship, we have a lot to prove this year, try to repeat, and I'm excited to come into a culture that's ready to win and guys that are ready to work. So that's the part I'm most excited about for sure.
Yeah, we definitely got in here and we were working right away. And yeah, as Steve said, they won it last year, so it's definitely a winning culture right now. We've been working extremely hard, and I can't wait for all the games to get started. I learned a lot.
What is it? This for you. What is it like now? What's the difference that you've seen in preseason, like getting off-season workouts in high school compared to college when you guys are here?
I would say it's just the pace is much faster, and more guys are coming ready to work. Every single day. It's an everyday thing. 2 workouts a day, pretty much every day, and the pace is fast. People are moving through the workouts fast, so that's the main difference that I've seen so far.
For you, how's the adjustment for you? How have you been able to adjust pretty well?
Yeah, I think the first couple of weeks were a little hard. It's a lot faster out here. People are bigger, stronger, and faster. And we just have to adjust. I'm really glad I'm with all my guys over here, and we'll be good.
Yeah, as you guys are, you guys freshmen, you guys coming in together, you guys are basically gonna grow up together. What are some things that you guys try to help each other with on the court and off the court?
We really do everything together.
Yeah, we're basically together all the time. Like, we live with each other, Luke and James live with each other. So basically, the four of us, and we have a bunch of classes together. So we're together all the time, on and off the court. So, and they're all really good guys. James too, who's not here. So it's a great group to be a part of.
Now, Coach said you guys are pretty much getting tired of playing against each other. You guys ready to go against new faces from other teams? November 9th, the season is almost here. How excited are you guys you guys are gonna get the chance to showcase your talents?
I'm extremely excited for the season to start. We've been waiting for it for a long time now. We've been grinding for the past few months during preseason and now practice. So November 9th definitely can't come fast enough. I can't wait for the season to finally start.
For each of you guys, what are some things in your games that you guys worked on in the summer before coming to Emerson?
For me personally, the thing I worked on my body the most to try to get as best a shape I could, because I've known Coach for a number of years and I know he likes to run and he plays a fast-paced game, and so I needed to make sure I was well adjusted coming in here. So I tried to focus on my body the most for sure in the summertime.
I focus on my body too, but getting more muscular because I'm kind of a skinny guy, and just working on my defense because I got to be able to defend at the college level against bigger, stronger, faster guys. So that was my main focus.
Yeah, that's what Coach said was defense. Y'all got to communicate on defense.
Yeah, playing a lot of defense so far.
Yeah. And lastly, before I get out of here, I see you guys just had the shootout out here. So who's the best among you four? The best shooter out of you four?
Me or Steve?
Let me hold that. I will say it's JB over here, but I can get in his head, so he don't want it.
So is JB so is it?
We can all hold our own from deep. We can all hold our own. Yeah.
So is it fair to say during the season you guys gotta watch out for the text for him because somebody might get into his head easily? Is it?
Exactly.
All right, and before we go, so we've established that he's the best shooter out of you guys. Allegedly, right? Allegedly, right?
They call Steve a young Kyle Korver.
Yeah. Now, if I were to get on there with any of you guys, do I have a chance? Now, I haven't touched the ball in a while, so do I have a chance?
I don't know. I haven't seen you play, so it's tough to gauge right now. But
I'm gonna just say no.
JB's gonna say no.
What advice would you give to me? I haven't touched the basketball in a while. I haven't played in a while. I'm playing one of you guys one-on-one. What advice would you give me, just as a heads up?
Don't let me shoot.
Don't let you shoot. Don't let you shoot.
You gotta foul me or you're not stopping me. It's gonna be 11-0.
It's like that? Damn. 11-0? Damn.
I'm not as cocky as JB. I don't know if I'd say you definitely got a foul. I'd say foul.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Damn, guys.
You gotta be confident.
Oh, man.
College ball now.
I see y'all are confident, but goddamn.
Hey, I got some advice for you. This dude right here, all he shoots is floaters, nothing else.
All right. So as you can see, these guys clearly don't think I could hold my own against any of them. So the disrespect is high over here. They lucky the ladies are on the court. I would have showed them, but we gotta go. So maybe next time I come here, they'll know. I definitely want him now, since he said he beat me 11-0. That don't. Come on now. I get at least 5 buckets. But you guys, good luck. Good luck on the season, man.
Thank you.
I might come for a few games.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Keep that work.
Appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you,
Athletes Corner, we're out of here. And we are back. We are back. So we are going to go to the NFL top 10 plays of Week 8 right now, and then we're going to talk quickly about the NBA, and then we're going to be out of here. All right, so top 10 plays right now. right, we are back. We're about to wrap this up. We got like 5 minutes left. So quickly talk the Suns. DeAndre Ayton, 25 game suspension. He for violating the NBA's anti-drug policy with a positive test for diuretic. I don't know what the diuretic is, but geez, like damn, it's your second year in the league, man.
Yeah.
He said he didn't know. I mean, what it was. I mean, this might be one of those things you thought something and didn't know.
Yeah, it might be one of those things where there's a certain ingredient
Yeah.
in a product and he just didn't know.
I just don't like. I don't know what they be putting themselves. I just don't like. Maybe it's like with those proteins or whatever. This is why I'm not a fan of any of those protein stuff because you just don't know.
You got to read.
Yeah.
You got to read, and they got the professional athletes. They got people that answer to them so they could read the bottles for them.
Yeah, and you can go to like the league or your team and then show them this, and they could tell you if.
And there's a list
Yes.
of all the banned substances you cannot use.
Yes.
Now, there was some that they find out about.
Yeah.
But
There is a list.
so, yeah.
Celtics, they're off to a quick, good 2-1 start. Lost the first game. Then they bounced back, beating Toronto, and then they beat the Knicks. But the Knicks aren't a real basketball team. But they beat them. Like I said earlier, Tatum, Brown, Irving, Walker, and Hayward. Those got to be the four guys, the main four guys on offensively. It looked like it's going that way. Hayward led them in scoring the first game, and Tatum had a double-double, and then it's kind of been that way. It's like one of those three guys been the leader in scoring the past 3 games. So they kind of found their needs. Now it's just like they got to fill in those role guys. Got to find their niche too, and these guys can have a successful season.
Yeah, the more you play together, the more you get comfortable with each other.
Walker started off slow, but
I mean, then he dropped
Then he got cooking.
Yeah. He killed the Knicks, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
So he just had to
Everybody
get comfortable. You know what I mean? And they'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, it's
They'll be fine.
the first month of the season, first 2 months of the season are not that serious. I mean, the Warriors, they got blown out their first 2 games, and everybody's, geez Louise, the overreaction was crazy, but nobody's taking into consideration. They've got 2 starters coming, 2 starters back. They've got a whole bunch of new guys, a new roster. So, yeah, they're going to look like that for like the first couple months because they're trying to figure things out. I mean, we already saying they're not going to make the playoffs. We already saying they're going to be like a lottery pick. Like, yo, can we let things play out before?
Yeah, I can see that. But the level that they've been on, I don't think they're going to reach, so people are going to just crush them this year just because.
They're going to crush him without even not looking at all the other stuff. They're like, and then there's this, can Steph be a leader? Is Steph leader? I'm like, yo, what?
Who's the leader? The whole time Steph's been there.
That's, yeah.
Steph.
And it's like, they're like, okay, Steph carry a team. I'm like, yo, they won a playoff game and got to the second round before Draymond and Clay became all-stars. This was like back in 2013. It was like these guys were still, getting there, but they weren't there yet to the level they were. And it's like, yo, he's done this before with the team. Like, what is the revisionist history we having?
They should be talking about Kyrie and KD if they're going to do that.
Yo,
I don't know why you talking about Steph. He got, what, 2 or 3 championships?
Yeah, and you got you got to look at AD, too. This guy was the number 1 pick over there in New Orleans, and he only got to the second round once.
And Steph ain't going to play with anybody. They're coming to him.
Yeah, and he's also not, telling all NBA players, agents, to force a trade so they could come play with him like some other players do. But, some certain players get criticized for certain things, and he gets criticized for just being a basketball player and trying to do things the right way. But whatever. Let's go to our game picks for week number 9. I believe we're in week number 9. The Patriots are playing the Baltimore Ravens. This is in Baltimore, I believe.
I don't never pick against the Pats, bro.
Yeah, me either. 49ers, Cardinals.
49ers.
Texans, Jaguars.
Texans.
This is in London, so yeah, Texans. Team from Washington and Buffalo. Buffalo can't only beat bad teams.
I'm going to pick a team from Washington.
I'm going to pick Buffalo just because they only beat bad teams. Vikings and Chiefs. I don't know if Mahomes is playing.
I got Vikings, man.
I got Chiefs.
I got the Vikings.
I got Chiefs. Jets and Dolphins.
The Jets.
Would you rather watch paint dry or watch this game?
I'd rather watch paint dry, man, upside down. But
yeah. I'm going to go with you. Let me just pick the Dolphins just so give them a little bit of hope. Philly and Chicago. Philly. Colts, Steelers. This is in Pittsburgh.
I'm going with the Colts, man.
Yeah, me too. I'm going with the Colts. Titans, Panthers. Titans are a weird football team.
Panthers.
Yeah, Panthers got to bounce back. They need to win this.
they do.
Lions, Raiders.
The Raiders.
I'm going with Detroit. Buccaneers, Seahawks. This is in Seattle.
Going with Seattle.
Seattle. Browns, Broncos in Denver.
I'm going with the Browns.
I'm going Broncos until the Browns prove me otherwise. Packers, Chargers in LA.
Oh, Pack.
You going with the Pack? I'm going to go with the Chargers. Cowboys, Giants, Monday Night Football. Saquon's back.
Where they at?
New York.
Giants.
Yeah, Giants. I don't like picking any New York team. And we got about a minute left. Oh, shout out to Robert Wallace. He got a scholarship to play at a school in Kentucky. He's down there in Kentucky.
That's what's up, man.
I forgot the
Congrats,
school
man.
name. Coach, his coach was telling me. I forget the school name, but shout out to Robert Wallace on that. He's out there by himself, so you know.
Man, just
Kudos.
congrats, man, on getting out of Lynn for a little bit.
And also, every single Lynn football team, high school, is in the playoffs. So every team is in the playoffs. St. Mary's is playing against Mackinac. I think that's how you pronounce it. Lynn English against Tewksbury. Classical Winchester. Tech. I forget who Tech's playing. I think Tech is playing. Kip is playing Charlestown. Tech is playing somebody on Friday. So Friday, 6 p.m., Tech at Manning Field. That's going to be the first game. And yeah, I think that's about it. We used up all the time, and we got everything done. And, you know, I am Blade right now to close this segment. We got the caveman over here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we got Pedro back there doing his thing. Everybody be safe on Halloween, man. Be safe out there on Halloween.
Check that candy. If you don't want to, I will.
Yo, check the candy. I'm taking all the Kit Kats. And oh yeah. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think we got through everything. Be safe out there. Clocks go back this weekend. Turn your clocks back this weekend. Yeah, that's it for us. After the whistle, we out of here. We'll catch you next week for the first show in November. And yeah, you know, we do what it do.